The 1970s. The Cold War is at its peak. The United States, the Soviet Union are spending billions of dollars spying on each other. But there was one secret mission that went even further right into the Soviet Union's most heavily protected waters. Right under the Soviet Navy's nose, a US intelligence operation was secretly stealing their top secret military plans. The mission's codename was Operation Abigail's. It was so highly classified that only a handful of top US officials even knew it existed. Today we're diving into the inside story of one of the riskiest spy missions in history. The story begins in 1971 after joining US Naval intelligence submarine captain James Bradley noticed something strange. There were no radio signals between two of the Soviet Union's most important naval bases, Petropavlovsk and Vladivostok. That could only mean one thing. They were communicating without using radio. Bradley believed the Soviets had laid a massive undersea communication cable across the ocean floor. This ship was completely surrounded by Soviet territory. It was entirely inside Soviet territorial waters. No foreign ships were allowed anywhere near it. The Soviet Navy patrolled the area 24 by 7, and the ship was pilot sonar system and naval mines. Entering that zone could have triggered a war, but the United States was willing to take the risk. To pull off what seemed impossible, the US Navy used its special submarine USS Halibut. From the outside, it looked like a standard guided missile submarine, but inside, it was packed with cutting-edge technology. It even had a special digging chamber underneath, allowing divers to reach the deep ocean floor. In October 1971, USS Halibut secretly slipped past Soviet defenses and reached the bottom of the Sea of Okhotsk, about 4,000 feet below the surface. Their American divers found the Soviet communication cable on the ship floor. But now came the real challenge. How do you listen in without anyone knowing? If they cut into the cable, the Soviets would notice immediately. American scientists developed a new device that could capture the electromagnetic signals passing through the cable from the outside. The Soviets had no way of knowing that every conversation was being recorded. Over the next several years, this mission became a gold mine for US intelligence. The first device could only store recordings for a few weeks. Later, American companies upgraded the spy equipment and built a massive automated recording port. It could continuously record Soviet communication for an entire year. Once a year, a US submarine would secretly return, collect the old traps, and replace them with fresh ones. Want to know the craziest part? The Soviets were so confident that nobody could ever reach this cable. They never encrypted or coded their conversation. This spoke in plain language about submarine location, missile test data, and even nuclear strategy for the United States. It became one of the greatest intelligence victories of the entire Cold War. After running successfully for 10 years, everything suddenly fell apart in 1980. US satellites spotted a group of Soviet warships guarding that exact location in the Sea of Okhotsk. When divers went down in to investigate it, the multi-million-dollar recording device was gone. Sniper bells had been compromised, but how? The leak came from one of America's own Ronald Peltor. He was a former NSA analyst. After jumping his way into massive debt, he sold every detail of this top-secret mission through the KGB in 1980 for just US $35,000. The Soviets immediately recovered the device from the shipload. Then, in 1985, the United States learned through a Soviet defector that Ronald Peltor had been the traitor all along. Even today, the American recording port recovered from the Sea of Okhotsk is on display at the KGB Museum in Moscow. What's your take on this unreliable underwater spy mission from American history? Let us know in the comments.